Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning, and I hope that you enjoy the sub video as opposed to the sub message today. The point that or the reason why that I'm making this video is to give you some EV spreads. Flight and I, these are the two teams that I'm going to be testing, and I'm probably going to take either one or the other to Fort Wayne. And I really need to start testing big time, to be completely honest with you. You know, the No Holds Barred tournament is coming up, and sorry my hair's so messy, man. I don't have enough time to get into the shower. It's already a little bit past 8, so I'm already technically a little bit late. Forgive me. But anyway, I'm going to be playing one of these two teams at Fort Wayne because I thought that besides the World Champs team, these two were the best. And I know it's Sam's and it's also Nils' team, so I'll go ahead and go over them. And I just want to let you know that, like, even though I'm good, I got energy, I'm feeling great, I seriously have been stressed, like way more than one person should ever be stressed. And you know, I'm going to be dealing with all of that today, so hopefully, you know, we can really start catching a groove. And I'll say something at the end of this message, which is basically, I'll say it without saying it. So here we go. I believe this is Nils' team. This is probably the team that I'm going to be using. He ran Electrium Z Tapu Koko, and he ran Timid. And we know that he ran a max speed Timid variant with max special attack and only 4 HP investment because his HP was only at 146. It is very possible that maybe he has some defense or special defense investment, but it's very unlikely. We know that he's max speed, and we know that he has 4 HPs or 4 EVs in HP, so it's very likely that he has 252 in special attack, so he can actually do good damage. I really do like the entire moveset on this Pokemon, and this is the exact Koko I use, except for I switch around the Volt Switch attack slot sometimes. You know, it's very good. Next up, we have Persian. And Persian is also another simple set, and it has 4 HP EVs to make it 141, and it wears the Wiki Berry. It has the ability Fur Coat, which its defense is doubled, so instead of it having 80 defense, it actually has 160 defense, which is quite good. So he decided to spec out his Persian speed, and the reason why we know for a fact that it's max speed is because if we went over to Tapu Koko, for example, and quickly just changed it over to Modest, which is very, very popular. Modest Koko has been very popular recently. You see that it's 1 speed point higher. And the most difficult thing to do in this format is to lower special attack. So that leaves you open for a parting shot into a Timid Koko before it attacks you. And if you can -1 its special attack, it's really not a threat. You can also quash later in the game. And it's important because Nils, I guarantee you, he used Fake Out, Foul Play, Parting Shot, Fake Out, Foul Play, Parting Shot. And then if he's going up against a Modest Koko and it goes to game 3, boom, quash, it'll win you the whole game. I'm telling you, and that's how you conceal your moves properly. This Snorlax is actually not Nils' Snorlax. I believe this is the 4th place winner's Snorlax, and the only reason why I replaced it with the team is because, like I said, I'm planning on taking these with me to the event. So Snorlax, he doesn't have high horsepower on Nils' build, and if you watch his top 8 match, he lost because of Marowak, and it kind of just, Marowak just walled him. He didn't really have a good answer for it because Neoligo just couldn't get the job done. So I just went with the build that had high horsepower, and his build, Nils' is Adamant, but this is actually Impish. But Impish or Adamant, it's really, really important to like look at this EV spread and see what it is. So like I said, this isn't Nils' EV spread, but he did have the same speed EVs, and it does the same thing basically. This is just a more physically defensive build instead of a more offensive build. So we knew that this had 250 HP, so we already know the HP stat. And from here, we decided to figure out what in the world they were using. So when they have plus defense with Impish, whenever you go to a plus nature, you wouldn't do it unless you're trying to hit a number that you cannot normally hit. So he actually maxes out his defense on his Snorlax, which I agree with, because after a belly drum, your attack is very high anyway. Nils, he ran Adamant, so he was naturally stronger before a belly drum and could still do decent damage. With me running Facade, I really can't do decent damage without setting up my belly drum or my high horsepower. So belly drum is very important to this set, whereas Nils can still kind of function without it. The main thing to notice here is that you have Mimikyu, which is your Trick Room setter, and I'll get to Mimikyu in a second. However, the reason why you don't run a minus speed Nature Snorlax is because oftentimes your opponent doesn't carry Trick Room themselves. They just carry Snorlax to switch into the Trick Room and try to beat you, or they start Snorlax so you can't Trick Room. Well, all you do is you bluff the Trick Room with Mimikyu and belly drum with your Snorlax, and you're guaranteed that you go faster than them. And they don't have Protect 99% of the time, so you just literally blow them up without even setting up Trick Room. So you destroy opposing Snorlaxes, and then Mimikyu can just psych up the boost that you get. Next up, he has Arcanine. I didn't put the moves in here, but I don't even know if this is his build of Arcanine. This is what I likely think that it is, because he had 196 HP, and we were able to see like the different, you know, or how can I say this? If you're running an attack or adamant based Arcanine, then you're going to want your HP investment to be this high, and you know, you need some attack, speed, and special defense. I can't really say that I looked too closely at his Arcanine because he didn't even bring it at all, but the whole point of Arcanine, I suppose, or at least I didn't see him bring it, and I didn't see the other guy bring Arcanine either, is if you're going up against like things that Arcanine directly counters, or you absolutely need the Earthquake for things like Garchomp or something like that. But we didn't really get to see his Arcanine in battle, to be completely honest. The only thing that we did know is that it has 196 HP, and if he's running Adamant 196 HP plus the Figgy Berry, this is likely the rest of his EV spread. Neoligo next, maxed out, 252 speed, 252 attack, and it actually had 0 HP EVs, so I imagine he put the 1 in special defense. He has the move Acid Spray to lower the target's special defense by 2. He also has Power Gem, Sludge Bomb, and Hidden Power Ice. With it carrying the Choice Scarf, it can come in later, and it can, you know, clean up kills for you, or it can start the game next to a Koko and Acid Spray into someone, and then that's easy pickings if you know you can double into that slot. So it's possible, unlikely, but it's possible that Neoligo has heavy special defense and physical defense investment, and he just is simply here to use the Acid Spray attack and Choice Scarf with his other Pokemon, but I highly doubt that that's the situation, because Neoligo itself would just be a very poor Pokemon, and it is a modest, so you know that he is running some attack investment anyhow. So I do think this is likely his EV spread. And then lastly, we have Mimikyu as well. And Mimikyu is interesting at 236 EVs. He doesn't need to max out his attack, but he does need a little bit, so that way Shadow Sneak and Play Rough do something, but mainly he's here to psych up the stat boost and then set up Trick Room. That's why he has his defensive investment, and then of course you just have the 4 throwaway and speed, but this is definitely a bulky, you know, Mimikyu meant to set up Trick Room, and like I said, set up Psych Up on the Snorlax as well. And you can do so many trick plays with the Mimikyu. Like, you can bluff the Trick Room, get the opposing Snorlax to Belly Drum, and then just Psych Up their Belly Drum or whatever. And then you're outspeeding them and destroying them at the same time, because Snorlax can't do anything to you because they have to break your disguise just to get to you, and Snorlax's only attack is high horsepower if he even runs it, you know. So Mimikyu is really good, and there's a lot of plays into bluffing the Trick Room or not, and you can take advantage of your opponent trying to beat Trick Room, but Nils is just one step ahead with this team. I do think Nils' team is the best team in the tournament besides the world winner, and it's because he literally went undefeated. He lost 1 set, and that was the set to the world winner that he lost to, and his Snorlax and his whole team for that most part was basically walled by Marowak. His only good option, like I said, was Neoligo or Persian. They just couldn't get it done. So I think his team's the best. And then lastly, we have Sebastian's team. I'm really into Alolan Ninetales, and I know that this video is already 10 minutes long, and I'm already about 20 minutes late for my stream. We're going to go for or just know that, you know, not only am I doing the sub message for you guys this morning, but yeah, man, like I'm getting up here, and I really do. I get out of bed as quick as I possibly can. I don't like being late at all, and I'll try to make up the time at the end of the stream as long as I have the energy to do so. But I am putting the effort and love into the subscriptions, because truly, even though everyone is important, you know, you guys are really the ones that really definitely make it happen. So I love you guys. I'm glad that I'm spending time with you. I hope you see it as that way. Now, going back to this EV spread, and I'll try to do this one a little bit quicker, but there's so much here. That's why it's taken me 10 minutes so far. But Ninetales is a great Pokemon. It carries the Light Clay, so it doesn't have the Focus Sash. It has 100 EV invest, and it doesn't really need any special attack investment, to be completely honest with you, because its only special attack is Icy Wind. We know that it does have max speed because it's important to get your Aurora Veil up right away, and based on the damage that the Ninetales was taken, we decided that it had on average around 108 defensive EVs. This left us some extra EVs to mess around with, and we did put them in special attack for 44 just so that Icy Wind could actually do some kind of damage, but it is completely a utility attack that is used to lower the speed. And if you can notice, this Ninetales, it's meant to come in, set up Aurora Veil, Icy Wind, disable Roar, and it's not really meant to attack. But those 44 EVs might make it do a little bit more damage or pick up like a 3-hit KO on Tapu Bulu, or something along those lines. We couldn't figure out where these 44 points go. We don't think it's more than 108 in defense, and we don't think it's more than 4 in special defense, but maybe it actually is. So just know that, and remember, these are just our best guesses from like looking at the thing. And Ninetales is a sacrificial lead, meaning you never switch it. You just, unless like some super crazy specific situation, but you always set up Aurora Veil turn 1, unless once again you have some crazy specific situation. And after you set up your Aurora Veil, if you're not dead, you just sit there and spam Icy Wind, disable, and Roar, and be as annoying as possible. And if you get more than an Aurora Veil from your Ninetales, then most likely you'll win, because you just can't stop it. It's so much advantage that it gives you. It's incredible. Next up, Arcanine. They didn't bring their Arcanine either, just like Nils really didn't, but Arcanine, I suppose, is here for Kartana. I doubt you want to speed tie the Smart Strike OHKOing you and then ruining your whole entire game. So if they have Kartana on your team, I suppose you bring Arcanine. That's the only logical thing I can think of. Arcanine is a great Pokemon, same EV spread as I said before. I can't prove it 100%, but we know that it has 196 HP, so 244 HP EVs, and if you're running Adamant, you need 76 Adamant EVs, and there's no reason not to run the bulk like that, because you don't need to bulk out your physical defense, because the Intimidate artificially increases your physical defense. Next up is Garchomp, who has a very, very interesting EV spread, 172 HPs, 205 HP, rest and attack, which is 124. He has 12 defensive EVs, and he also has 100 special defense EVs and 100 speed EVs as well. We know that he's spec to live special attacks because I forget what attack it was, but he took a very strong attack. And anyhow, with 100 speed EVs and being Adamant at 135, at 134 is actually a speed that 130 tiers drop to. So Tapu Koko, for example, gets hit with an Icy Wind, then Garchomp will actually outspeed it at 135. So 135 is incredibly important to understand with this team. And of course, it's one of your many leads. You can lead it with Ninetales, Aurora Veil, Sword Dance, and if they don't deal with you immediately, you win. Next up, we have Mandibuzz. You have 20 EVs in speed, just so that way you can hopefully outspeed a couple other Mandibuzz, but other than that, you're just basically balked out. Your entire job is to kill things with Foul Play and then continually set up Tailwind, and I guess Taunt and Roost every once in a while when you can. But Foul Play is one of the best attacks in the entire format, and with having Psychic Seeds to boost your special defense, and it naturally just has strong physical defense, Mandibuzz is a really hard Pokemon to knock out. And if you notice, there's no combination of Pokemon that can have the download boost for P2 to give him special attack, no matter Ninetales, Arcanine, Garchomp, Mandibuzz, Tapu Lele, or Xurkitree. So P2 is not good against this team, or at least it can't be a sweeper against this team. Next up, you have Tapu Lele, who is a very bulky Pokemon. Surprisingly, it doesn't really have much investment anywhere besides HP and defense, so it bulks out its defense completely because its special defense is naturally good, and it bulks out its HP as high as it can get. And the reason why it doesn't need speed is because you get speed for Mandibuzz, and it doesn't need defense or special defense, and it doesn't need attack because you have Calm Mind, which is an interesting Lele set because you don't really see Calm Mind Lele very often, but it did come in second place, and I do think that it's very good because after setting up one Calm Mind and then in a Tailwind, you're basically a Choice Scarf Lele that's just way better. So that's the build of Lele that they used. And then lastly, we have Xurkitree, who has the basic moves of Thunderbolt, Dazzling Gleam, Tail Glow, and Protect, but it doesn't really have much of an investment in special attack at all because it tries to set up its Tail Glow, and then from here on out, your HP and your defense and your special defense are balked out. And we were doing a bunch of calculations with Aurora Veil, and it looks like that he evenly specs out his defense and special defense, and his special defense is at 104 once again for Porygon. He has 136 speed, which is one more speed than Garchomp, which is important to note. And also, we know for a fact that this is his speed EV because, like I said, when you go timid and then you go into a plus nature, you don't want to hit a number that you can hit normally. He can hit 135 normally with modest, but he can hit 136 with timid. So he literally only goes 1 point higher and then balks out the rest and then depends on Tail Glow. And the reason why 136 is so important is because, like I said, you'll always outspeed Garchomp by 1. So that way, if you find yourself in a situation, you could still attack with Circuitry as well as Earthquake with your Garchomp at the same exact time. So these are the EV spreads of the Pokemon. Feel free to click around and get the EV spreads for yourself and test out the team. We put a ton of time and effort into it, and I had no intentions to make this video 15 minutes. I was hoping it'd be like super quick and then I'd be live, But remember, you guys are the ones that truly make it happen. Like, yes, every kid that watches me, every adult that just can't afford to sub or whatever, all that extremely matters more than I'll ever deserve. But I am spending my time with you, so I actually don't feel too bad because I'm putting out a good sub message for you guys. And the thing that I want to end it off on, because I always seem to end my stream or my sub messages off on a little bit of word, and this was important to me. So listen up. If you have ears to hear, let them hear. And I'm basically telling you what's going on without telling you what's going on. So I was praying. I turned my phone on right before I started praying. When I got done praying, I checked my phone. I didn't even think of it, but I always get a verse or whatever whenever I turn my phone on. So it says, but we urge you, brothers, to do this more and more, to aspire to live quietly and to mind your own affairs and to work with your hands as we instructed you, so that you may walk properly before outsiders and be dependent on no one. So I'm literally not even going to explain it. So either you get it or you don't get it. And I love you guys with all my heart. You're the best. I can't wait to get live. I'm going to drink this little Starbucks I got next to me. And we're going to go ahead and turn up and we're going to catch that Tyrogue today. So I love you guys, and I hope you have a great day.